Is Alan still alive on The Young and the Restless? Martin ended up being the one who kidnapped Sharon and Phyllis, leaving Tracy heartbroken. However, did she really fall for Alan's evil twin? Or is there more to this story? All those months ago, it came out that Martin and not Alan had messed with Ashley's head. In Paris, the brothers had a tussle, supposedly leaving Martin dead and Alan alive. Tracy stayed in Paris for a while, and she ended up getting to know Alan. The two fell in love and moved back to Genoa City. All was well between the two of them, and ultimately he asked her to marry him, and Tracy happily accepted. Alan returned to Paris without Tracy, and when he returned, she'd started to suspect Martin had kidnapped Sharon and Phyllis. It turned out that he had, and Martin confessed. Does that mean that Martin survived the fall and Alan is the twin who died? Possibly. It did seem as if someone had died. However, on soaps, dead isn't always dead. Perhaps both twins survived, and Martin managed to escape after he was declared dead. That could mean that Alan is still alive. Maybe Alan returned to Paris after he suspected Martin could be the one behind the kidnapping. When he was there, perhaps Martin caught him and locked him away somewhere. Of course, it could be as it seemed, and Alan is the one who died. What do you think? Is there more to this story? Is there a chance that Tracy will finally get her happily ever after at long last? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease that Martin Laurent might break free from prison, setting the stage for yet another thrilling twist. Will he finally pursue vengeance against Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman? We need to consider the situation from Martin's viewpoint, as he has been effectively impersonating Alan Laurent since their shared fall from the balcony last year. Until Martin made the grave error of abducting Sharon and Phyllis for his experiment, no one had any suspicions. While his intentions were rooted in selfishness, driven by a desire to prove his superiority over his brother, Martin also believes that Phyllis and Sharon should appreciate his so-called assistance. He thinks he has awakened their humanity, yet his methods were undeniably perverse and profoundly unsettling. There is no justification for Martin's decision to trap Phyllis and Sharon in such a twisted form of captivity. Despite everything, Martin continues to view himself as exceptional, convinced that others are inferior to him. Sharon and Phyllis played on this arrogance, tricking him into admitting defeat by feigning failure in his experiment. Ultimately, it was his inflated ego that led to his undoing. To summarize, Martin's facade crumbled due to his carelessness connected to the Phyllis and Sharon clinic incident. The illusion of Alan was completely shattered when Sharon and Phyllis set up their clever confession trap. In short, Martin has ample reasons to hold Phyllis and Sharon responsible for the disintegration of his life as Alan. Had it not been for the complications involving Sharon and Phyllis, Alan could very well still be engaged to Tracy Abbott today. Meanwhile, Martin might be in his prison cell scheming his revenge, leading us to consider the likelihood of an escape plan. It wouldn't be surprising if Martin orchestrated a swift getaway at some point. I&R chose to keep Martin alive rather than eliminate him in a dramatic confrontation, suggesting they may want to utilize him for further chaos in the future. A thrilling showdown could still be on the horizon if Martin decides to seek retribution against Phyllis and Sharon. Although Martin is incarcerated, Phyllis is struggling to find the closure she anticipated. Would her feelings improve if Martin were no longer alive? Is it possible that Phyllis could be the one to bring about Martin's tragic end? As she contemplates her future, Phyllis will share her thoughts on moving forward, but true progress may only come if Martin is permanently out of the picture. According to upcoming spoilers for the CBS soap, Martin's looming threat could still cast a shadow over Genoa City, so keep an eye out for any concerning developments. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, April 14 to May 2, reveal that Lily Winter's new mystery will get underway while Audra Charles tempts Kyle Abbott. Plus, Y&R fans will see some romantic surprises and sneaky plans. So let's talk about what's ahead on the CBS soap. The week of April 14 to 18 will bring Tracy Abbott's decision to step away from all the trauma she's endured in Genoa City. Tracy will opt to visit New York with Ashley Abbott and make a prediction about putting Martin Laurent behind her. Phyllis Summers will still seem a little lost despite getting closure on who kidnapped her. There will still be questions about why Martin targeted Phyllis and Sharon Newman, so Phyllis will have a tough time moving on. Nevertheless, Abbott communications will be a nice distraction for Phyllis, who might help Billy figure out that a trap is brewing. Victor Newman will try to con Billy with a setup, so we'll see if Phyllis sounds the alarm. Regardless, Jack and Kyle will realize there are more spy games happening at Jailbreak. Diane Jenkins Abbott will help Jack work on some defense tactics as the Abbott-Newman feud spirals out of control. Michael Baldwin will face Diane's questions later as she backs him into a difficult corner. Diane may try to pry information out of Michael to give Jack the upper hand, but Michael may not divulge much of anything. If Victor catches a glimpse of Michael and Diane together, he may remind Michael that loyalty is something he values above all else. During the week of April 21 to 25, Michael and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin's marriage could take some hits due to that Victor loyalty we mentioned. The more stress Michael's under, the worse it'll be for his relationship. As for Audra, she'll put all the pieces in place for her grand plan. Audra will prepare to lure Kyle into a compromising position and make him look like a lying cheater in Claire Newman's eyes. However, Nate Hastings' suspicions will grow along the way and could lead to Audra getting grilled. Holden Novak will also continue to turn on the charm around Audra and may get under Nate's skin with his pursuit of her. Over with Sharon and Nick Newman, will their London trip lead to any unexpected flying sparks? Could this be the push these exes need to step out of the friend zone again? The week of April 28, May 2 will ramp up the romance for Jack and Diane. Since Diane's been working on Abbott Mansion renovations, she might plan a special night to debut the new look and enjoy the house privately with Jack. Victor will be cooking up a surprise of his own for Nikki, so this may involve her upcoming birthday bash. We know a wedding planner named Pietro will appear by the end of May, but Victor may get the ball rolling with some early preparations for the gathering. Finally, Lily will have a mysterious admirer, so it sounds like some flirty message and extravagant gifts could be headed her way. Could the man behind this Aristotle Dumas persona be Lily's admirer, or will it be someone else instead? The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 3 weeks will bring some fun curveballs, so stay tuned for updates on all the shocking news to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Audra Charles believes she can manage Nate Hastings. She's making the same mistake by accepting the same about Victor Newman. Nate cares about Audra and appears to either already be in love with her or is falling hard. Victor plays into Audra's baser instincts by mining her thirst for revenge against Kyle Abbott, who scorned her. Meanwhile, viewers see that Lily Winters focuses a lot of energy on Damian Kane. If Nate's newly realized brother proves to be a decent guy and not a deceiver, as Lily is convinced he is, she can couple with him. Nate overlooked many glaring red lights when he decided to get to know Audra. He did so partly because of his recent dalliance with immorality. Many in Genoa City, Wisconsin, including the unlikely contingent that includes Victor, Lily, and Devin Winters, don't trust Audra. That put Nate in an interesting position because of his experience with Victor and the familial protection that Lily and Devin offered. Months later, with Audra increasingly letting her guard down and revealing a softer side, she is being lured into a box. Victor is offering the pretense of a job, but she needs to con Kyle to get it. Audra hasn't told Nate the full details of Victor's offer, with that deception being ominous. Everyone in GC uses defense mechanisms. Audra keeps her guard up because of what she's described in her childhood and what happened with Tucker McCall. She's downplayed the connection with Holden Novak, another mistake. Nate was told they were together in the past, but that their relationship wasn't serious. Dominic's character suspects otherwise, but is convinced it doesn't matter because he feels secure with Audra. Sally Spectra rightfully told Audra she was surprised that Victor's offer wasn't rejected out of hand. Silver's character used her unemployment as a front to justify considering it, which means she's lying to herself to a certain degree. Damien doesn't appear to have a significant other, or at least that woman isn't known. Assuming he's single, Lily is a woman he liked at first sight. Lily is single and hasn't sought romance because of recent bumps in her career and personal life. But Damien projects as someone who could be her next love match. Pairing this new cast addition with a daytime veteran looks smart. Rivers has already demonstrated his chops, and Khalil remains an enduring presence on the show. Hopefully, Damien doesn't prove to be nefarious because he and Lily would be good soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of April 14 to 18 reveal some bombshells on the horizon. Genoa City can be a revolving door where characters come and go, only to return again. So learn more about some casting news that will take place over the next 5 days by reading below. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that both Tracy Abbott and Ashley Abbott will exit the canvas as the ladies head to New York. In the aftermath of the Big Alan/Martin Laurent reveal, Tracy will need to get out of Genoa City and clear her head. Sad to see these women leave the canvas, but it's likely that fans will see them at some point in the near future. Tracy and Ashley are slated to exit during the April 14 episode. Of course, Abby Newman hasn't really gone anywhere, however, as actress Melissa Ordway was dropped down to recurring status. Her character hasn't exactly been at the forefront of storylines either. Fans will get to see Abby comforting her husband, Devin Hamilton Winters, this week as he deals with more family drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that a new face is slated to pop up in the land of Genoa City. Actor Jay Rodriguez will debut as Pietro, a party planner, on the May 28 episode. Pietro will be hired by the Newman family to help organize Nikki Newman's birthday party and participate in this 4-episode arc. As Pietro will enter GC in May, as sweeps month, there's a good chance the proverbial poop will hit the fan at Nikki's birthday bash. So what kind of chaos should fans expect? Only time will tell. What storyline are you most excited to see during the week of April 14 to 18? Join the conversation in the comments section. Catch CBS's Soap Daily to see what happens next, and visit this site often for the best Young and the Restless updates, news, and spoilers. Despite having played the Young and the Restless Victoria for 2 decades, Amelia Heinle has no problem at all picking her favorite storyline. Working with my dear, departed Billy Miller was probably the most incredible period. She reflected during our recent chat about her time on the soap. It was so special and the kind of experience you're forever grateful to have had. Viewers fell hard for the pairing of her tightly wound Harris and Miller's take on the devilish playboy now portrayed by Jason Thompson. It's so rare that you have that incredible chemistry with your scene partner, and it's parlayed into a beautiful story, she explained. The push-pull of the relationship captured the attention of viewers, who were caught up in the passionate and unexpected romance. We were having so much fun, Heinle recalled. I think anyone who worked with Billy or met him had fun. He was just the most fun person. He loved everyone, and everyone loved him. I never wanted it to end, and I told myself it was never going to get any better, because it was just the best time I'd ever had. Although Miller would leave Young and Restless to play General Hospital's Drew, Heinle said, "Those are the times that I'll always look back on and think fondly about. I'm so glad we had that time together, because I feel as if working with Billy sort of opened me up a bit. Hers was not the only life changed by the pairing. I feel as if Victoria changed because of that time in her life, Heinle shared. They were yin and yang, and allowed Victoria to loosen up and to realize there was more to life than work and being Victor Newman's daughter. Miller's 2023 death left a hole in the hearts of many, whether they'd known him personally or not. That's the kind of person he was, she smiled sadly. Unforgettable. In the intricate world of Genoa City, a high-stakes game of ambition and manipulation unfolds, centered around Billy Abbott's pursuit of redemption and control. As Billy strives to rebuild his legacy, he becomes the target of a cunning scheme orchestrated by Victor Newman, with the elusive Aristotle Dumas adding an unpredictable layer to the conflict. Billy Abbott, driven by a relentless desire to reclaim his standing, is poised for a comeback. His confidence and strategic moves signal a man on the cusp of success. However, beneath this veneer lies a perilous trap. Victor Newman, a master of control, has designed a calculated plan to undermine Billy's aspirations. This isn't merely a business rivalry. It's a battle for dominance, with Victor leveraging legal and psychological tactics to destabilize Billy's empire, particularly targeting Abbott Communications. Victor's strategy is multifaceted, involving not just Billy but also Michael Baldwin, whose reluctant loyalty complicates the dynamics. By manipulating circumstances, Victor aims to corner Billy, exploiting his ambition as a weakness. The trap is both subtle and devastating, threatening to unravel everything Billy has built. Victor's endgame, however, extends beyond Billy. He seeks to expose Aristotle Dumas, a shadowy figure whose influence could tip the scales. Aristotle emerges as a pivotal player, offering Billy a tempting deal to regain control of Chancellor, a prize steeped in personal significance. Yet this proposition comes with risks. Aristotle's motives remain unclear, and his involvement could either save Billy or ensnare him further. Victor, sensing Aristotle's importance, aims to flush him out, knowing that spooking the silent partner could dismantle Billy's plans entirely. As the tension escalates, Billy grows wary, sensing the undercurrents of Victor's scheme. His sharp instincts drive him to uncover the truth, but every move is a gamble. A single misstep, revealing too much or trusting the wrong ally, could spell disaster. The looming confrontation between Billy, Victor, and Aristotle promises to be a clash of intellect and resolve, with Genoa City's power structure hanging in the balance. This intricate power struggle highlights the delicate interplay of trust, deception, and ambition. Billy's ability to navigate Victor's trap and maintain his alliance with Aristotle will determine his fate. For now, Genoa City remains a battleground where every decision carries weight, and only the most astute will prevail. In a recent shocking turn on The Young and the Restless, Tracy Abbott's attempt to leave Genoa City ended in catastrophe, raising critical suspicions about foul play. On what was meant to be a fresh start in Seattle, Tracy was involved in a serious hit-and-run accident en route to the airport, an incident that is now being treated as an attempted homicide. Tracy, hoping to leave behind the toxic influence of Martin Spencer, had carefully planned her departure. After enduring months of manipulation and covert threats from the man who had once presented himself as a confidant during her marital fallout with Danny, she resolved to sever ties permanently. Martin's behavior had evolved from subtle coercion to open intimidation, with Tracy ultimately rejecting his control with a definitive, "I'm leaving, I'm free." However, freedom proved elusive. As she drove along Interstate 94, a sudden rear impact spun her car violently across the asphalt, resulting in a devastating crash. Tracy was found unconscious and hospitalized with significant injuries. Authorities reported the vehicle that hit her fled the scene, a classic hit-and-run with suspicious circumstances. Initial investigation details A crumpled rear bumper, lack of skid marks, and the trajectory of the impact point toward a deliberate attempt to harm her. Tracy herself suspected Martin's involvement, citing his prior threats and psychological control. Her fears were echoed by Jack Abbott, who rushed to her side and confirmed police were treating the case as criminal. Detective Elena Martinez, leading the investigation, has identified patterns consistent with a premeditated assault. Surveillance footage, witness statements, and physical evidence are now being examined to determine the truth. Martin's past behavior and manipulative tactics have made him the prime suspect. As Tracy recovered in the hospital, flashbacks of Martin's threats plagued her. Though physically weakened, she resolved to assist the investigation by disclosing every instance of abuse and coercion. Her emotional support system, Jack and Diane, remained by her side, determined to protect her from further harm. Meanwhile, Martin, watching from the shadows, seethed with rage over Tracy's survival. His failure to eliminate her cleanly has only intensified his resolve, suggesting that his plans are far from over. The hit and run, rather than closing a chapter, has escalated a broader psychological and potentially violent campaign. The investigation has since intensified, with law enforcement working tirelessly to build a comprehensive case. As more individuals come forward sharing their experiences with Martin, the community rallies behind Tracy, recognizing a broader pattern of abuse and manipulation. Despite the trauma, Tracy's story is now a symbol of resilience. Supported by those who care for her, she is preparing to take control of her narrative and seek justice. As she begins this new chapter, defined by courage, survival, and truth, the danger persists. But so does her determination to end Martin's reign of terror. This unfolding storyline serves not only as a dramatic peek in the young and the restless, but also as a compelling reminder of the strength it takes to escape coercive control, and the importance of standing up for one's freedom, even when the odds are stacked against you. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we've got some comings and goings details to share. So let's discuss 2 Abbotts set to exit, Melissa Ordway's return as Abby Winters, and an exciting new role that's in the works. For starters, Melissa Ordway will finally be back on screen as Abby during the week of April 14 to 18. Look for Abby to comfort Devin Winters over some family drama and perhaps offer a little advice. Valerie Pettiford also has more scenes coming up as Amy Lewis, who'll continue to worry about Damian Kane's efforts to get along with Devin, Lily Winters, and especially Nate Hastings. Next, we should talk about a couple of exiting Abbotts since Tracy Abbott will announce she's leaving for New York with Ashley Abbott. In the aftermath of all the Martin Laurent drama, Tracy will want to get out of town for a while and throw herself into writing a new book. Fortunately, Tracy will assure Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott that they'll be back soon. Diane still needs to show off the Abbott mansion's new look, so Tracy and Ashley will return to offer their opinions when the time comes. Other Y and R spoilers say Jai Rodriguez will appear as a party planner named Pietro starting May 28. Nikki Newman has a birthday coming up, so Pietro will help plan her bash during a 4-episode arc. In other soap news, Daniel Goddard has been cast in the role of Professor Henry Dalton on General Hospital. Goddard will make his GH debut on April 15 and is still filming, so fans who enjoyed Kane in Genoa City may want to check out his new character in Port Charles. Although there was previously speculation about Goddard returning to Y and R as Kane, and perhaps being revealed as Aristotle Dumas, that's obviously not happening now that Goddard's at GH. However, the role of Kane could potentially be recast, so that's worth keeping in mind. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor Newman will continue to make troubling Aristotle predictions as the drama heats up, so stay tuned for updates on any shockers to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of April 14 to 18 reveals that Sharon Newman may have a chance with Nick Newman after all. Plus, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott will also scheme while Kyle Abbott gets caught off guard, so here's what fans can expect. For starters, Diane will scold Jack for leaving her out of the loop on Alan Laurent actually being Martin Laurent. It'll add to the overall feeling of Diane being an outsider in the Abbott family, but Jack will hope to make his wife feel more included. My and our spoilers say Diane will play a big role in the next phase of Jack and Victor Newman's feud. After Jack and Kyle uncover some Jailbreak drama connected to Victor's spies, they'll take action with Diane's help. Jack and Diane will have a strategy session, so it won't be long until Diane puts their new plan in motion. It looks like Michael Baldwin will land at the center of that plan, since Diane will approach him and perhaps pump him for information. Diane will try to use her friendship with Michael to Jack's advantage, but Michael usually knows better than to go against Victor. Although Michael's going to land in a tight spot, he may have to stay on Team Victor in the end. Nikki Newman will try to play peacemaker as the Newman-Abbott rivalry gets worse, but Victor will refuse to back down. In fact, Victor will have some new tricks up his sleeve when it comes to targeting the Abbotts. That'll include Billy Abbott, since Victor will have a trap in mind for him. After Lily Winters tries to build some trust with Damian Kane and convince him to open up, she'll run into more hurdles. Damian will put a stipulation on the truth that could frustrate Lily and send her to Amy Lewis for help. As for Audra Charles, she'll do something daring as part of her mission for Victor. Kyle will be caught off guard by whatever Audra has in store, so she may make some predictions about using his attention to her advantage. While Audra works to ruin Kyle and Claire Newman's romance, she'll lie to Nate Hastings and back herself into a corner she may not be able to get out of. Meanwhile, Tracy Abbott and Ashley Abbott will take a New York trip together, so it should be good for Tracy to get away for a while after all the Martin mayhem. Speaking of trips, Nick's London getaway with Sharon, Faith Newman, and Christian Newman will move full speed ahead. Victoria Newman will fish for answers about Nick's feelings for Sharon, and will hint that maybe destiny could bring them back together on this vacation. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the week of April 14 to 18 will bring plenty of surprising news, so stick with us for updates on all the great stuff ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, April 14 to May 2, reveal that Lily Winters' new mystery will get underway while Audra Charles tempts Kyle Abbott. Plus, Y&R fans will see some romantic surprises and sneaky plans. So let's talk about what's ahead on the CBS soap. The week of April 14 to 18 will bring Tracy Abbott's decision to step away from all the trauma she's endured in Genoa City. Tracy will opt to visit New York with Ashley Abbott and make a prediction about putting Martin Laurent behind her. Phyllis Summers will still seem a little lost despite getting closure on who kidnapped her. There'll still be questions about why Martin targeted Phyllis and Sharon Newman, so Phyllis will have a tough time moving on. Nevertheless, Abbott communications will be a nice distraction for Phyllis, who might help Billy figure out that a trap is brewing. Victor Newman will try to con Billy with a setup, so we'll see if Phyllis sounds the alarm. Regardless, Jack and Kyle will realize there are more spy games happening at Jailbreak. Diane Jenkins Abbott will help Jack work on some defense tactics as the Abbott-Newman feud spirals out of control. Michael Baldwin will face Diane's questions later as she backs him into a difficult corner. Diane may try to pry information out of Michael to give Jack the upper hand, but Michael may not divulge much of anything. If Victor catches a glimpse of Michael and Diane together, he may remind Michael that loyalty is something he values above all else. During the week of April 21 to 25, Michael and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin's marriage could take some hits due to that Victor loyalty we mentioned. The more stress Michael's under, the worse it'll be for his relationship. As for Audra, she'll put all the pieces in place for her grand plan. Audra will prepare to lure Kyle into a compromising position and make him look like a lying cheater in Claire Newman's eyes. However, Nate Hastings' suspicions will grow along the way and could lead to Audra getting grilled. Holden Novak will also continue to turn on the charm around Audra and may get under Nate's skin with his pursuit of her. Over with Sharon and Nick Newman, will their London trip lead to any unexpected flying sparks? Could this be the push these exes need to step out of the friend zone again? The week of April 28, May 2 will ramp up the romance for Jack and Diane. Since Diane's been working on Abbott Mansion renovations, she might plan a special night to debut the new look and enjoy the house privately with Jack. Victor will be cooking up a surprise of his own for Nikki, so this may involve her upcoming birthday bash. We know a wedding planner named Pietro will appear by the end of May, but Victor may get the ball rolling with some early preparations for the gathering. Finally, Lily will have a mysterious admirer, so it sounds like some flirty message and extravagant gifts could be headed her way. Could the man behind this Aristotle Dumas persona be Lily's admirer, or will it be someone else instead? The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 3 weeks will bring some fun curveballs, so stay tuned for updates on all the shocking news to come. The latest episode reveals a dramatic escalation in the ongoing power struggle between the Abbott family and Victor Newman, with multiple characters making difficult choices that will alter the course of their futures. Michael Baldwin's betrayal. Michael, once a loyal ally to Victor, has switched sides, aligning himself with Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins. This decision shocks the corporate world, as Michael's strategic insight and financial acumen are now being used to challenge Victor. Michael has realized that aligning with Victor only perpetuates the latter's ambitions, which prevent him from advancing his own. Diane's growing power. Diane feels increasingly excluded from the Abbott family, especially after Jack hides crucial information about Martin Laurent. Despite this, Jack strives to integrate Diane into the family, though their relationship is complicated by secrets and Victor's manipulations. Diane is not just in the relationship for love, she sees it as an opportunity to regain power within the Abbott family. Kyle's realization. Kyle begins to understand that Victor views him as a mere pawn, not a worthy heir to the Newman empire. As Kyle sees the value of family, he and Jack must act to protect Jabot from Victor's manipulations. Diane's strategic influence. Diane becomes a key player in the war against Victor, using her intelligence and relationships to outmaneuver him. As she connects with Michael Baldwin and pressures him to support Jack, Diane aims to turn the tide in the Abbott family's favor. However, Michael is torn, knowing that staying loyal to Victor will come with heavy consequences. Michael's dilemma. Michael faces a critical decision, whether to stay with Victor, who he has a long-standing but strained relationship with, or to stand with Jack, potentially losing everything he has worked for. Victor's refusal to back down. Despite Nikki's attempts to mediate, Victor refuses to give in. He remains determined to protect his empire at all costs, even if it means sacrificing family bonds. As the rivalry intensifies, Victor's manipulative tactics will continue to push the Abbott family to their limits. Victor's trap for Billy Abbott. Victor sets a complex trap for Billy Abbott, trying to weaken his trust within the Abbott family. Billy must choose between protecting the family and confronting Victor's manipulations. Claire's decision. Claire faces a major crossroads as Kyle offers her the chance to move in with him, which would dramatically alter her life. However, Victor pressures her to remain loyal to the Newman family. Claire's decision could tip the balance in the Abbott-Newman war. Audra's manipulation. Audra uses Kyle's feelings to her advantage, stirring trouble in his romance with Claire while furthering Victor's plans. As her relationship with Nate is strained, she risks alienating him in her pursuit of power. Audra's conflict with Holden Novak. Audra finds herself caught between Holden's flirtations and her loyalty to Nate. She must navigate these relationships carefully to avoid consequences that could derail her plans. Marital and career tensions. Lauren Baldwin gives Michael an ultimatum, forcing him to make a difficult decision between his career and family. This creates tension in their marriage, with Michael struggling to balance his ambitions with his responsibilities at home. A sisterly escape. Amid the turmoil surrounding the Martin family, Tracy and Ashley take a trip to New York. This trip allows Tracy to reflect and regain the strength needed to face the challenges ahead, with Ashley providing valuable support. Romantic struggles. While Nick and Sharon enjoy a peaceful holiday in London, Victoria's interference threatens to complicate their relationship. Victoria seeks answers about Nick's feelings for Sharon, testing the couple's bond. Love versus ambition. Audra's relationships with both Nate and Holden create emotional turmoil, forcing her to make a tough choice between love and professional gain. Her decisions could have lasting consequences. The episode highlights the ongoing complexities in Genoa City, where characters are forced to confront difficult choices about loyalty, love, and power. The battle between the Abbott family and Victor Newman continues to escalate, with key players like Diane, Michael, and Claire making decisions that will shape the future of both families. In The Young and the Restless, tension escalates as long-buried secrets resurface, placing Diane Jenkins at the center of an emotional storm. The elegant serenity of her Genoa City home stands in stark contrast to the internal turmoil brewing, as Diane prepares to disclose a truth she's concealed for over 2 decades. A truth that could dismantle her family's foundation. After years of silence, Diane calls her sons, Jack and Kyle, back home under mysterious circumstances. While speculation in town runs rampant, no one anticipates the gravity of what Diane is about to reveal. The reappearance of Martin Ashford, a dangerous figure from her past, has upended her life once again. More than an ex-lover, Martin represents manipulation, obsession, and a dangerous hold Diane has tried desperately to escape. According to Diane, Martin has returned to Genoa City with a singular, chilling objective: control. Using a long-concealed truth as leverage, he's threatening to expose Diane's real identity and, more alarmingly, the possible truth behind Kyle's paternity. Despite Diane's efforts to protect her sons by disappearing and starting anew, Martin's influence has remained a looming threat, and now he aims to use the past as a weapon. The confession hits like a tidal wave. Diane recounts years of evasion, name changes, and emotional isolation, all in a bid to shield her children. Yet the potential fallout is now impossible to contain. The core of the revelation: Jack may not be Kyle's biological father. Martin might hold the key to this secret, and he's prepared to use it to force Diane back into a life of submission and fear. Kyle and Jack are left reeling. The implications stretch beyond personal betrayal. They call into question the very essence of their familial identity. But amid the heartbreak, a new resolve begins to take shape. Rather than let the secret destroy them, they choose unity. Diane's vulnerability and courage mark a turning point. By finally facing the truth and enlisting the strength of her sons, she opens a painful but necessary path toward freedom. The road ahead is uncertain and fraught with emotional landmines, but the family's collective determination signals a refusal to let the past define them. As the rain outside gives way to dawn, the promise of a future built on truth, no matter how devastating, emerges. Diane's journey underscores a powerful narrative that even the deepest secrets, when brought into the light, can become a foundation for healing. In the April 15, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless, Genoa City remains on a razor's edge as the fallout from Martin Laurent's arrest continues to ripple through the lives of its most powerful residents. While some characters seek closure and redemption, others plunge deeper into manipulation and betrayal. This episode weaves together emotional breakthroughs, corporate warfare, and strategic deceptions, underscoring the show's core theme: in Genoa City, nothing stays buried for long. Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers, once bitter rivals, find themselves drawn together by shared trauma. With Laurent now behind bars, a rare moment of vulnerability unfolds between them in the Abbott Mansion's sunlit parlor. Their reconciliation, marked by emotional honesty and mutual support, signals a surprising yet hopeful shift in their relationship. Sharon's parting words before her trip to London suggest that even in Genoa City, unexpected friendships can emerge from darkness. Elsewhere, Lily Winters confronts Damien in a high-stakes meeting at Society, demanding complete transparency regarding his involvement in the Laurent affair. The conversation reveals Damien's internal conflict and introduces a pivotal development: the mysterious Aristotle Demas, believed to be connected to Laurent's larger scheme. Lily's insistence on full disclosure sets the tone for a narrative centered on integrity, trust, and the cost of secrecy. At Jailbreak, Jack, Abbott, and Kyle uncover evidence of internal sabotage, including falsified contracts and altered sales figures. Convinced that Victor Newman is orchestrating the attack, they storm into his office prepared for confrontation. Victor's deflection and cryptic warnings suggest deeper machinations at play, leaving Jack and Kyle to question whether they're facing a single adversary or a network of hidden threats. Diane Jenkins confronts Michael Baldwin outside the courthouse, pressing him on his role in the Laurent case and hinting at legal improprieties that may have benefited Newman Enterprises. Their tense exchange is interrupted by Lily, who later confides in Amy Lewis about concerns over her strained relationship with her son. A subplot that reveals the emotional toll of the city's ongoing chaos on its families. In a dramatic scene at the Newman penthouse, Billy Abbott walks into what turns out to be an ambush by Victor. The confrontation is ominous, with Victor issuing a warning that promises far-reaching consequences. This moment cements the growing animosity between key players, signaling that the brewing conflict is far from over. Audra Charles, ever the opportunist, continues her covert alliance with Victor Newman by targeting Kyle in a seduction ploy designed to give her leverage at Jailbreak. Her offer of insider information and promises of advancement test Kyle's loyalty to his family. When Kyle eventually confronts her, the resulting exchange exposes his vulnerability and marks a turning point in the ongoing power struggle between the Abbotts and Newmans. Diane's role within the Abbott family begins to evolve. Once a peripheral figure, she now seeks a central position in decision-making. Her demands for access to sensitive information, however, create friction and spark internal debate over the wisdom of trusting her. As familial bonds fray under the pressure of recent betrayals, Diane's presence could either stabilize the Abbotts or push them further into disarray. As Damien's investigation continues, he and Lily uncover connections between the Laurent case and key figures across Genoa City. Each revelation leads to deeper entanglements, suggesting a vast web of corruption and manipulation that spans both corporate and personal domains. The stakes grow ever higher, with the fates of the Newmans, Abbotts, and their allies hanging in the balance. This episode showcases the complex dynamics that define the young and the restless. With secrets surfacing and allegiances constantly shifting, every decision carries weight. Whether through whispered confessions or corporate power plays, the residents of Genoa City are inching toward inevitable reckonings. As the lines between friend and foe blur, one truth remains. In a city ruled by ambition and legacy, every revelation is a risk, and every alliance a potential betrayal.